Michelle Hoffmann is the author of Life Worth Living, Practical and Compassionate Guide to Navigating Widowhood and Soul Parenting. What a journey this book has been, now available on audiobook. Michelle, thank you for being here.
Angela, I'm very, very pleased to be here, and I'm thrilled that we've made the Life Worth Living book available on as an audio version for those people who need it the most at the moment of truth, or when time has gone by, or when someone you loved, who you value and who is valuable, may need some support going through a dramatic major life role change. And becoming a widow, losing a loved one, is certainly a dramatic life change. Just like changing communities, changing jobs, changing who you are in the world. These are all dramatic life changes. And the tools in the book all help people who have gone through some change and they need to identify as a new role, because who they were before is no longer who they are any longer.
You're talking about, identity shift and how being a widow and being a co-parent, that identity shift that can happen overnight in some cases, where now all of a sudden you're a widow and a sole parent. How do you think that life worth living, the message of that applies to that identity shift? Is what makes life worth living is readjusting your identity, or does the life worth living come first? You have a reason and then your identity shifts. It's a chicken or an egg question.
It really is a chicken or an egg situation, because they're who we are in the world um, identifies us. And when that changes, we need to make that change as well. And to bridge that gap, there's grief that we need to let go of. And grief is complicated, it's ambiguous. When you're trying to get something done, grief can slam your head against the kitchen wall, drop you to the kitchen floor, put its foot on your neck, and grief can prevent you from breathing or seeing your future. And it's really imperative to discover what treasure does grief hold for you, so that grief doesn't have a hold on you, because it can be overwhelming. There is so much loss of security when you've gone through these identity changes, when you were co-parenting and now you are sole parenting, when you are suddenly the head of household and all of the decisions are yours. And it can, steal your sleep. Grief roams the house at night, keeping the children up, and it keeps you up. And there's so much worry and anxiety. There's a loss of confidence. There's a loss of sense of self. And you need to recreate that somehow. But who do you ask? Because all of your relationships have suddenly changed in this new role. And there's risk of losing your job. There's risk of losing your money, your family and fiscal life. There's risk of losing your health and self-care, and your children are going through this too. So they are as vulnerable as you. And how do you pull all of that together is really the big question of, how do you project manage this and prioritize what's important in your life at any point in time? And how do you get the energy to do that? And who do you go to for help?
Right. It's such a journey. I know you've helped so many widows in so many different formats over this year. What are some of the highlights of being an author? It's been over 12 months of being a best-selling author. Tell me some of the best things to come from this book, other
Wow.
than us becoming friends,
Right.
which I'm sure goes on the top of the list.
Absolutely, my girl. In reality, if you'd like me to share some of the top tips and tools, there's really like 7 aspects of your life that need to be considered. And these tools are true for everyone and anyone. These are the hard questions that we're not taught by our families, that when you're suddenly, shocked and shattered and your landscape is scorched and you don't know what steps to take and you feel like you can't take any of them. And people say, they give the best advice that they can, but they don't always know what to say or the right things to say. And their hearts are in the right place, but there's really no guide for this. So Life Worth Living is the girlfriend's guide I didn't have, that I wrote for a friend. And now I realize it's really such a useful tool for so many people to help you pull together your revenue, resources, your fiscal life, and to make sure that your family and your children are secured so that they don't get lost in risky or dangerous behaviors, so that you don't, so that you can return to a full and happy life filled with laughter and connection, abundance, and confidence for you and your children, so that you've got enthusiasm for the long run, so that you can start a new beginning of your life worth living. And if I can tell you the biggest lesson I've learned throughout this whole journey is that people think they can do it on their own. If you think you can do it on your own, that's a signal to you to ask yourself, how much do you have to lose? When you have so much to lose, or you can't afford to lose anything more, that's the time that a competent guide who has walked this journey could save you so much of your one precious life. And to your point, Angela, you and the author incubator have certainly saved me time, money, energy, and expedited this entire journey so that I can go out and help people. And one of the greatest gifts I believe that you share, Dr. Angela Lauria, is that you are the queen of words. And your gift is that you give voice to all you serve. So thank you for giving me the voice to help so many people who may not have known that that kind of help was available. Thank you.
Well, I love you. We've had 15 months since I met you in person, and it's been an amazing journey, maybe 16 now, but I know it will continue. Life Worth Living, practical and compassionate guide to navigating widowhood and soul parenting, now on audiobook by Michelle Hoffmann. Make sure you get it. It's a powerful, powerful book.